All right, welcome. Motivation Mondays, your boy Talent. The big homie Amir Silly got a personal engagement, so he couldn't be here, but no fair. I know many superheroes in the game. I'm sitting here with my fellow comedian superhero, straight out of Philadelphia, holding it down, comedian extraordinaire Mike Sean. What up, though?
What up, T? What's going on? So this is Motivation Mondays.
Yeah.
This is what y'all been talking about. Okay, I see it pop up on my IG. I'm like, okay, I see Amir. You know, we do other things together.
Right,
So
right.
I finally, y'all got the hot intro. Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
this is this year too, man. We try to keep the people stable, keep them motivated, man. And we find different angles to do that. Nobody talk more motivating than Amir. Amir straight out of the pyramids. Amir, come on here. Like you be thinking you talk about shit, and then Amir talking, you fall back and go,
Yeah. Amir, don't ask Amir what time it is. Don't ask him, you know what time is it? I'll tell you the time. You want to know the time? The time of day. Well, I'm like, whoa, I got 5 minutes before I go on stage, Amir.
Hey, yo, when Amir talk, bro, you want to whoop all your old teachers' asses.
All of them. You
You're like,
realize
why
you...
am I talking like this, B? Like, why am I still saying B? Well, welcome to the show. Mike is my co-host of the day. We're going to be all over the place. We're dealing with our finances, being motivated in the financial department. We're going to be talking comparison of life and existence of building people up, bringing them down with the finals playing with the Golden State Warriors and Boston Celtics. We got my man from the Real Dads Network going to be coming on. He got that big event this Wednesday. He's been doing a whole week of stuff celebrating fathers, and dads everywhere because we're coming up close to Father's Day weekend. So he does that every year, nonstop, real good role model. So he'll be here as well. Got a text, Rodney Perry might pop in. And of course, man. Dave, the business bully. But let's start off first and foremost. Let's start off with this finals because did you catch the game last night, brother?
Of course, I caught it. Yes.
So now here's my thing. Before we get to the message in the madness, let's get to the part where these games they're getting too blatant with the rigging of the games. The NBA should be ashamed of themselves. Like you can't have a game that's 4 points tight and then 34 points like the other way.
Right.
Come on, man.
Well, I mean, we all have been called conspiracy theorists for thinking certain things, but, they have been NBA officials that have come out and actually blatantly said that they took part in it. They went to jail for it. I think last night, these announcers are getting a little loose with the lip when Jeff Van Gundy said during the regular season, Draymond and Jaylen Brown would have got double technicals. But because of the circumstances, meaning it's the playoffs, because, Draymond would have got that technical, he would have been ejected out the game. That's so even Jeff Van Gundy basically said, we really can't afford to have Draymond Green out the game, because people want Golden State in this series to go long. Right. I think some of the foul calls, a lot of the foul calls, I think the refs put their prints on it. There's one official who actually said, retired official that said, when a series is 3-0, the NBA sends video of the team that's up 3-0 and start sending videos on fouls you missed on the team that's up 3-0. So they are giving this video so they can pay close attention because nobody really wants a sweep. They want the gentleman's sweep. They want an extra game. I didn't say this. This is a retired NBA official. You can Google this. I ain't making this up.
I believe it because if you look at the games, and we was talking about this from the, when the playoffs started, at the beginning of the playoffs, we was like, yo, you know this? I don't know if we're going to see sweeps again. You know what I mean? Because they, especially the pandemic threw a wrench in everybody's stuff. Not that it wasn't already, they was doing certain things, but I think it's intensified now, and it's imperative to stretch these things along financially, of course.
Right.
Fig is in the building. Let's bring Fig in. Hey, Rashawn. Hey, Alfreda. Let's bring Fig Man in the building. I heard he's in the backstage studio, so we'll bring him in as soon as he's ready to get it. There you go, Figman Freud. What up?
What the deal, man?
Fig. Hey, man.
Can't call
what up, Mike?
We just recapping the game, first couple of minutes of the show. Then we're gonna get into our motivation topics. But it's getting too blatant, man. I don't see how you got one game and the Boston Celtics squeak by a 4-6 point win, and then you go to game two, same place. Nobody jumped on the plane, same place, and these guys go up 40. Come on, bro.
And man, well, you know what? Here's the thing: when Golden State is on, that's what they do. I mean, we've seen it. Remember the year they did 73 wins. They got KD. They won 2 championships. KD gets injured the third year. Clay goes down the third year. So for the next 2 years, nobody sees the Golden State Warriors at full strength. This is the first year they've been at full strength. And while the 2 years that everybody was injured, all these young players are emerging as bona fide NBA players and starting to, get their NBA legs. So this year is the first version while we see Golden State at full strength. Now, the last time we see them at full strength prior to KD was the year that they won 73 wins. And that year, they was blowing everybody out, the entire NBA, because that's how potent they are. So, yes, the first game, I felt like they took their foot off the gas. I felt like they went into the fourth quarter with 14-point lead, and they was like, okay, these guys are not coming back. They don't really got nothing. Steve Kerr sat down a few cats, put in some reserves, and the next thing you know, Boston catch fire. Once you know a team gets momentum, it's hard to come back on them.
But
yesterday, they looked like they was at full strength. Draymond Green was in full I'm gonna punch you in the mouth kind of mode. He was attacking everybody. Anybody that looked like they could play yesterday, Draymond Green was up in them. And Golden State does what Golden State does.
Right.
And when we talk about, my bad, Jeff. When we talk about rigged and we talk about the NBA influence, it's not just them, y'all. In the NFL, just think about this for a second. The tuck rule was called once in history.
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
It was called once for Tom Brady against who? The Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
It was never called again. And they do stuff like that, and they expect us to go like we dumbasses. Like, we know why y'all did it. We know exactly why you didn't want the Raiders in. We know the historical beef that you had with the Raiders. So it's not just the NBA where the officials put their hands on something. Like, it's just, and
because that's one part of it. I want to talk about the people part of it, because the people part of it, how we are as people and fanatics and fans, how we guilty of something as well. We're going to get back to that because it ties into Motivation Monday. But right now, bring my other guest in here, Prophet Pete, super producer. I think the CEO of the Real Dads Network is our guest popping in today because we have a special event for a worthy cause. And this brother, we're going to be at Comedy in Harlem Wednesday. We got one big comedy show hosted by myself. This guy's been doing these events for dads, like real dads. Like, you got all these events for everybody else, but you hardly see all these events for dads. Shout out to Nason's place too, because they got something going on. I think it's the end of the month the last Sunday of the month, where they're pampering dads. Dope. Full-fledged pamper day. Like, they have somebody's mini mansion in Jersey, and you know what I'm saying? They got the mini mansion in Jersey. You go there, they got the big pool out there, the hot tub and all that. They got the masseuses on deck, the pedicure, you know what I mean? The manicure, like full dad pampering.
Nice.
Like 11 to 4, something like that. So we're going to, I think next Monday, the Monday after, we're going to have Nadine on from Nason's place in Jersey and tell us about that. Derek Phillips is in the back. You don't know how to log on. Derek, you click on the link, brother, and it'll say you're backstage and we bring you in. We'll circle back to the real desk because he's trying to figure that out. But let's bring the business bully in and let's bring Rodney in. In the meantime, let me call my homie and tell him, because he's having trouble getting on. I don't know, maybe he's not getting my link or whatever. What up, Rodney Perry?
Uncle Rodney.
What up, the business bully, Dave Anderson? What's up?
What up? What up? What up? What up, fellas?
What up?
Are you getting my link, sir?
It's the only show that the host will make a phone call during the
We'll be right back. All right, y'all good? Everybody
You
good?
get my link, son?
You get my link?
Yeah, you know it's kind of funny. I didn't realize that pampering was something that dads did, man.
That's how Deshaun Watson got caught up.
Yeah, that's what I took the words right out of my mouth. You talking about the massage, the manicure, pedicure? Isn't that why Deshaun Watson is facing 24 sexual harassment charges?
But Fig, you know damn well if you in somebody's mansion in the backyard around a pool, they're gonna have those massage. You ever see those chairs?
Yeah,
The whole chair thing from the mall.
Thing, and they do their thing and keep it moving. Then you go get your pedicure. Then you go get your man.
Ain't gonna be no tent.
Jump the pool if you want to.
Ain't gonna be no tent. Ain't no private massages.
Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother.
How they got in trouble.
That's why he got 24 counts right there. Don't nobody learn.
Hard head.
Yeah, man. Hey, talent, you can't get a massage in the open and get your upper thigh massage. You know.
We already know what problems those are going to cause. All right. So anyway, let me get back to where we are. So you guys came in a little late. We touched off on the beginning of the first two games of the NBA. But where I want to get with this is where we're guilty. Yeah, the NBA might be guilty of rigging it and putting their stamp on things. But where we're guilty at is, as fans, I don't think we've been fair to people like Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry's the walking epitome of what makes it hard to stay motivated, because when you're doing something exceptional or something well, and then everybody sees what you're doing, they go, yo, that's dope. He's doing it. And then people get behind you. When people get behind you, that's easy motivation. That gets you up easy. Like, oh, they like what I'm doing. I'm going to do more of it. I'm going to do it harder. I'm going to go. And then you fast forward. For some people, it's years. For some people, it's months or weeks. Then you get to a point where you've been doing it consistently for a while. You got this name. You're gaining this reputation, because we know Steph, at one point, if we go back years, Steph was top 3 in the league, right? And all of a sudden, it's like, we're looking for the next guy. He's all right. He's all right. He's still a miracle maker. He's still elite. The brother, even with injuries, he's came back and reclaimed those steps with the 20s and the 30s and the 40-point games and the insurmountable amount of three-pointers. I blame us sometimes. I blame the fan, the watcher. So if we apply that to life, people do that to each other in everyday living. Fig, do you not see this, or am I bugging out?
No, it's absolutely it's always what's the newest gadget. Look, we do it with phones. This is the technological age that we in. Every year, right? They come out with a new phone, and then everybody, oh yeah, I gotta have a new phone. Then they come out with Beats by Dre. When the last time you heard Beats by Dre? They got something else out this now. Then they come out with surround sound. Then they say, oh no, that's too many speakers and too many wires. Now we need it wireless. Now they got the one sound bar that just goes towards your TV, and it does everything that you used to have 5 speakers to do. I mean, it's always on to the next thing. You can't even have your car for more than 3 years before somebody be like, oh, that's old. Why don't you get the new one? It's like, yo, man, it's like the microwave age. We're literally living in the age of the Jetsons.
But person to person, is this not detrimental to the human psyche, so to speak? Rodney, like, think about what, and let's bring it home to what we do, because we're all comedians, right? So we move amongst wolves at times. We walk into a comedy club sometime, we get a lot of love. But then we in there sometime, and those same people that loved us last year are giving us that cold shoulder or that resentment or whatever. Rodney, I know you've been through it.
Man, it's crazy to hear you talk about it, and the line that came to my mind is success breeds hate. As you continue to navigate, people love the underdog, but at some point you're not the underdog. At some point you're the business bully. You're successful. So now what? Now what? And so I think it creates an atmosphere. It keeps us in a perpetual state of reinventing ourselves. Even if you're successful, right? You had to constantly be changing and evolving, because eventually your audience is going to be like, yeah, but I heard that. And you're like, wow, really? Yeah. I thought y'all had my back.
You know what's funny about that, Rodney? They never do it with singers. As a matter of fact,
I'm sure they do. I'm
Yeah, they
sure
do.
they do.
That's what I'm saying. It's the actual opposite. If you go to a concert right now, you want to hear that artist sing the song that you know. If they start singing something like what meant we go to a New Edition and they don't sing Telephone Girl or something like that. They come out and say, "Oh, this is my new single."
It's
and
a
you be like,
Telephone Man.
new single. If you don't sing Telephone Girl, we rushing the stage.
Yeah, but it's different. It's different. It's different. What we'll do is we'll tear down their performance and say they don't perform as well as they used to.
Exactly.
And I will say this, Talon, when it comes to individuals tearing people down, we love to be the first to say somebody's great and the first to be say somebody fell off. Like people they admire greatness and they envy it at the same time.
Wow.
So when people see Steph Curry and they see him achieving something, they're like, yo, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing. That's the admiration. But there's always the people who want to be the first one to say, you see, he's slipping. You see, he ain't the same that he used to be anymore.
I mean, look at the unreasonable hate that Fig dishes out for LeBron James all the time.
the unreasonable hate.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all know I love LeBron James. I love LeBron James. I just hate his fans.
Like, do you know how many people, since we're speaking about that, how many people couldn't love the fact that Michael Jordan went to the Wizards and lost? Do you know how many people really celebrated that Michael Jordan would go out and still average 20 points a game?
Right.
But they were like, yes, he's finally gonna fail. We love to see it.
That's so true, Mike. I mean, I remember that time, and there were people that was really like happy that Michael Jordan was in a losing situation. That's crazy. I forgot about it.
Hey, Dave, tell me, because, and we're going to talk about this in about 10, 15 minutes, where we're going to the trickle effect of this same very thing going over into our finances and how we perceive our finances and attack and go after that. Because to me, it's like this, bro. If somebody gets up here, and let's say in finances, I want him to be up there because I want him to be able to help the rest that's down here. I don't want to tear him down so we no longer have nobody, so to speak, in the front office to speak for us and help us with opportunities. Do you feel me?
Absolutely. Listen, I don't go around quoting Steve Harvey, but the one thing that he did say that I absolutely agree with is the best way you can help poor people is not be one of them.
Wow.
Point blank and period. You know, like there's nothing worse than two broke people trying to put something together. Like, hey, dog, let me see if we can get something to get this 40 popping. How much you got? Like, nobody wants that. You know, the other part of that is if you are not fueled by your own achievement drive, if you're not looking for your own way to get there, what's going to happen is somebody else is going to start putting in, you know, their thoughts on you, and then you're going to hit with what they want. And that usually sucks. People just want you to have something to fall back on. You know.
Let me take a pause on this and bring our guests, and I hear that they finally got in. Let's let Derek in, CEO of the Real Dads Network. Hey, man, if you're going to be the CEO, you're going to have to push buttons.
I see. Welcome, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you, man.
Hey, listen, first of all, I missed the thing Saturday, correct?
Yes, at FDR Park.
Take us from the beginning of the whole shindig you got going on, because you started with the, you know, taking care of real dads and celebrating them this whole week.
Oh, man, we have a whole week. This is our 13th year of doing Real Dads Week. For a whole week, we're just celebrating fathers, celebrating Black fathers. We kicked it off this week. We had a family fun day at FDR Park. So we had a few buses came up from the city. It was just great. The food was great. We had a DJ doing music. We had games, and the weather was perfect. And it was just really good to have that event because we've just been dealing with so much with COVID, so much with gun violence, so much with the mass shooting. So it was just nice just to have a nice family day and just to have fun. So on Saturday, that's what we did at the family fun day. We just had some fun, some good old-fashioned fun. And then on Tuesday, we have a fatherhood spoken word at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. These are just poets that are just talking about the importance of fathers. And then on Wednesday, we have my man Talon and Friends, who's kicking it off with the Real Dads Comedy Night. So just make sure that's going to be in Harlem. So make sure you be a part of that as well. Then on Thursday, we have our Real Dads Club. We have this club on Thursday, right? We've been meeting for over 2 years every Thursday. We have not missed 1 week in over 2 years. And this Thursday we have Brother Sean Dove from the Campaign for Black Male Achievement. When we talk about my brother's keeper, Sean is the one where Obama got the name and the thought to do my brother's keeper. He got it from Sean Dove. So Sean Dove will be joining us on Thursday at our Real Dads Club. And then on Saturday, we have our awards program. We are giving away $1,000 scholarship to a high school graduating senior. We're giving awards to Joshua Santiago, Cole Williams, Superhero Awards. And then we have an award for Shannon Lanier, a media award. And then we have Amin Ra, who's a principal, started a school 28 years old in Compton, California. 28, started a school, 100% graduation rate. All of his students are going to college. He's receiving our Community Father Award. And then we have Leroy Bozeman, who is receiving our Legacy Award. A lot of people may not know Leroy Bozeman, but he has a son named Derek and another son, Dave, and his other son is Chadwick. So that is Chadwick's dad.
Wow.
Receiving our Legacy Award. And then I heard you guys talking about sports earlier, and receiving our Image Award is Chris Paul.
Oh, nice. That's nice right there, brother. You doing it. I like the fact that you got a real full week of stuff. People always say a full week, but it fall off a day or two. You started with Saturday and end with Saturday, but the awards might be a little tainted. You gave an award to somebody because they got the same name as you, Derek. I heard that. And guy with the Compton Community Award, you need to just give him $1,000 for living and surviving in Compton.
Yo, he started this school in Compton, man, teaching them crypto. 28 years old when he started. Phenomenal, brother.
Nice, man. That here's the thing, man. I'm glad to be a part of it. I know that we're gonna make Wednesday phenomenal. People that have never been to the new Black-owned comedy club in Harlem called Comedy Harlem, 117th East Side, right there by the new mall with the Target and all that stuff in there, the Applebee's. It's a popping place now. It's right there. You can't miss it. As soon as you come off that east side, highway, you make a one right and a left, and you right there at the mall. And it's right there across the street from Applebee's, 117th, right there on the east side, right by the Target and the new mall. And also, shout out to the owner, Jamie Roberts, who's a comedian, one of our fellow brethren who started it, had a vision, opened it up. He owns it now. So we're looking forward to bringing our Black business there and having a great time and a great evening, man. I wanted to bring you on and let the fellas meet you virtually and just know all these things that, you do for the real dads, because we always talk about Mother's Day versus Father's Day. And one is like major league and one is like minor league.
Father's Day is the arena football of parenthood.
Yeah. Hey, take it back, Charlie.
Got to pass away for them to call up the father for the minor league. Call up the dad. Yeah, can you come
on? Father's Day is like being in the Negro leagues back in the day.
So you're changing that, in other words, Derek. We appreciate all that. So let the people know anything, websites, anything people can go to, can donate, because you're giving away scholarships, you're giving away money. So we accept every fund we can get. This is for a great cause. And you do it time in and time out. Like you said, Thursday, y'all haven't missed a meeting, haven't missed a Thursday. I appreciate that and salute you, brother. Give us some web information.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate you. And also just appreciate you, man, because you've been supporting us, man. Remember, we did this comedy show 12 years ago in the Bronx by Yankee Stadium.
Damn. So, dugout, right?
Yes, at the dugout.
Dugout. Yeah, the dugout. The dugout's still popping, too. Any of y'all ever play the dugout?
Yeah.
I love the dugout. You know why I like the dugout? The strangest thing about the dugout, shout out to them, man, because they Black-owned, too, but what cracks me up is they can't make no plans until the Yankees schedule come out.
That's funny.
That's very funny.
That's hilarious.
I want to do comedy on my birthday. They'd be like, we got when the schedule drop. Because you can only do stuff in there on the away games.
Right.
Because they take all their money from the local stragglers that walk in the bar and drink, and there's no parking.
Right. You can't do a comedy show when the Red Sox are in town. Like you can't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yo, you book all Boston comedians.
Yeah, Bill Burr.
You got Jonathan Gates, Corey Manning in them in there. But hey, Derek, I look forward to Wednesday, brother. I'm blasting it up. I did a couple of email text blasts today as well. We're looking forward to having a great time, man, for the worthy cause, bro.
Well, I appreciate you, man. If people want to get more information, they can just go to our website, Real Dads Network, realdadsnetwork.org. You can also just go to our Instagram page at Real Dads Network, as well as Facebook, Real Dads Network.
And who you got for these finals, bro?
Man, I'm going back and forth, man. I go with Boston, I go with, the Warriors, but I think right now, I'm back on the Warrior train.
Wow, that's an easy pick. Look at
that's the first way to get beat up in a bar. You got to pick a side.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I've been going with the Knicks. I'm waiting, so I don't really have a team. So I just pick whoever wins the first game, and then whoever wins the second. So I was the first game, the second game was the Warriors. So right now it's the Warriors.
I gotta use that technique.
You gotta respect his honesty, man. Derek Phillips, the CEO, founder.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having
me. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro. I'll see you Wednesday, 2 days, bro.
You got it, man.
Let's get it, man.
Thanks,
Thank you
brother.
very much for popping in, man.
All
Appreciate
right.
it. Oh, man, that's funny as hell right there, bro. All right, so let's get back on topic of lifting each other up and dragging each other down. Because the reason I thought this was important today is we're in a certain state and a certain climate out there. Mm-hmm. And even something like what we do. I'll be honest with you, because you guys are two Philly guys, right? When I was busy when the shooting news broke out in Philly, right? And right away, I'm getting bits and pieces. So when you're not right there and catching the full story, you're getting bits and pieces. So the day it fell on, the first thing that messed with me, because somebody was like, oh, yeah, they were coming, some festivals going on. And right away, it clicked. This was the weekend of the Roots Festival. So I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me some of us acted a fool at the Roots. Here's a big impactful people from the community trying to do their thing annually and give back and have a weekend they do every year, and we ruined it. That was my first thing. Then I started to Google and go on and get information, get facts. It was after 11:30. Now it's okay. That's not the festival. Then it was on South Street. Okay, that's not the festival. That's something separate. Some guys got some beef. They spray and people got. But these are people that can't put it together or refuse to. Then let me not say can't. Refuse to put 1 and 1 together to equal 2. Like, you know what? Not now. Not now. They don't care.
Right.
It's the Roots weekend. Got a lot of people in town. This is part of the problem. This is when you look at the build up and then I'm gonna take you down stuff. To me, it gets very morbid. Just like Mike said, you got people that can't wait to be, and it's almost like newscasters. You know, they can't wait to break the story. So you got people can't wait to go, oh, he dope, be the first to jump on the wagon. And then after a while, oh, he fell off, he slipped, or whatever the case may be. Then you got the real morbid motherfuckers that can't call you, tell you somebody died. I think all of this is detrimental to the psyche. And if the psyche's messed up from business bully side of things, your income and everything's going to follow. Am I right?
Absolutely, man. Like if your head's in the game, it's over with. Like if Steph Curry is worried about whether or not some old drug dealing, liquor store robbing dude is sliding up in Aisha Curry's DMs per her request, he might not have a good night in the perimeter. Like these are things that we got to think about, And then the other part of that talent is when people cover this stuff, they never cover the whole story. It gets real ugly. Like the white guy was like, yeah, I heard that if you listen to the footage, it says they be strapping. And I'm like, black people don't talk like that. No, so it's not. But then the footage clearly says, Tom, they ran the footage ahead of time. The footage says, oh shit, they strapped. How does that turn into they be strapping? Because I know the vernacular. Look at this toupee.
Right.
What? Sir.
Everything is B though. Like that's one thing about when white people impersonate us. Everything we be chilling. We be running. We don't be all the B shit, son. Like
unless you're Ice Cube, we be clubbing. That's about it.
And that was it. That was
Ice Cube didn't help us.
One and done.
At all. I was like, Ice Cube, you could have thought another word. God.
Right.
Yeah, we don't do that no more.
Let's somebody give me 3 people. I'm gonna start with you, Mike. Give me 3 people that in the history of, and it ain't got to be just sports, just in our history of the time we've been on the earth, that we've watched people build up only to eventually break back down.
I'll give you Michael Jackson. To me, is at the top of the list. What we did with Michael Jackson was almost tragic. No, I'm not gonna say almost. It was tragic. It was tragic that we literally allowed us to be influenced, even though he proved in a court of law not once but twice that he was innocent. There are other people that we forget that we did it to, and we did it to Kobe Bryant. but because of how tragic Kobe Bryant's life ended, we seem to forget that Kobe Bryant wasn't really a well-liked player for a long time.
Right.
And he was called selfish, and he was called a lot of things. And after that trial, he was catching it from the media, and a lot of us jumped on it. A lot of us jumped on and didn't actually protect our celebrity. Not that we knew him personally, and I'll take fault for that too. We didn't protect our celebrities. We didn't protect them the way they fiercely protect Elvis. Like Elvis is fiercely protected by his people, even though he married an underage girl, and she's literally on TV with Barbara Walters saying he used to give me drugs before I went to school after we spent the night together. So those are two off the top of my head that I can name. I wasn't around, but obviously, I wasn't around for, I'll say Mike Tyson. I'll bring Mike Tyson into this too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, man.
I'll bring Mike Tyson into this too, because the headline wasn't that Mike Tyson could have been the greatest ever. The story is that we couldn't wait for the Buster Douglas thing to happen. And when it happened, and this is way before the charge again, when the Buster Douglas thing happened, that was when we all, like piranhas, were like Mike Tyson. If you weren't from New York, everybody else was like, oh, finally, Mike Tyson was overrated. Mike Tyson did not train for Buster Douglas. Mike Tyson was sitting there with a snake like Don King behind him, taking all his money. Mike Tyson once made a quote that said, they asked him about his money, and he said, I'm happy I'm not rich because nobody's stealing from me anymore.
Right.
Which is an amazing thing. So those would be my three. Those would be my three.
Your list is super dope. I will say this with the Kobe thing, and we all probably guilty of it. Those are those instances, like Kobe's situation, when this thing happens, not just that people are pointing fingers, but this thing happens between two. It breaks down between two, and we get the rushing and flushing to pick sides. So when towards the end of the Kobe thing, when him and Shaq was the tiff and all that, Shaq was the more likable guy. So when they split and you had to pick a side, like you said, most people went, Shaq, Kobe wrong, he's selfish, this, that, the third. And we picked sides and did that. Now, there's the side picking, and later on you realize you're wrong. And then there's the persecution ones, which that was Mike Tyson and that was Michael Jackson. We didn't care if we had the proof. We didn't care if we had what they'd say receipts now. We didn't care. We just let the media and everybody out, the masses, formulate our train of thought, and we ran with it. And yeah, you ain't the only one that got to admit it. We all pretty much was guilty at that. Fig, can you come up with three that come to mind?
Oh, absolutely, man. Like very, very new. We could go with Earl Woods, which was Tiger's father. I mean, they was loving him when he was on when he was a kid. And whatever that show was, when they had him on, and he putted the golf ball, and then when he was in college, everybody was like, Earl's this great dad and stuff like that. But as soon as Tiger started making money, then Earl Woods wasn't no good for his son. We'll take it from here now that he's already making money. We did Richard Williams the exact same way. People still to this day think Richard Williams was a horrible dad, but he had these two girls that he taught how to play tennis in the hood on a raggedy court. The ground was horrible, busted glass, drug vials all over. They didn't even show him sweeping and cleaning the courts so he could show his girls how to play tennis. They because he didn't have a great relationship with his wife after the fact. They didn't talk about what a great father he was to Venus and Serena. And then just most recently, LeVar Ball. LeVar Ball trains his sons in California, has all the kids from the neighborhood, built this whole basketball training facility in his own backyard, training these boys, and the kids from the neighborhood come play in his backyard. He's the house where all of the fellas go to play ball. LeVar Ball, LaMelo, and LiAngelo, they all play ball. 2 out of 3 is in the NBA. He's a terrible dad now because he talks trash. Who don't talk trash? We know LeVar Ball. In the black community, everybody knows a LeVar Ball. I could beat Michael Jordan in a one-on-one. Shut up. Sit down. You next to get this haircut. You can't even beat me, let alone Michael Jordan. But everybody talk trash. We all knew that dude. But as soon as he got on ESPN and started talking about it, he was the worst person in the world. He was a horrible individual. So yeah, you build them up first,
Yeah.
and then you just tear them down because we bought it. And I think the reason is I think we bought into the lie where only a handful of us could be successful. And if talent's successful, then Fig can't be. Or if Mike's successful, Dave can't be successful. So I got to tear talent down. Or we got to tear Mike down so I can get ahead. And we always bought into the lie, but it only works for us.
Let me tell you why year 3 is so dope. Year 3 is so dope because you open up a different can. You open up a can, which is perfect for Motivation Monday. You open up a can where we get to a point and then we're in the way because somebody else is supposed to make that bread.
Right.
We've all been going through it for years. Remember all the back and forth? You know, why is he repping him? You need one of these guys and blah, blah, blah. Y'all don't know what y'all doing because we are deemed to look that way. We look like once those zeros and we're not equipped to handle that. We're not that bright when them zeros add on and those decimals and commas move. We're not equipped to do that. Me and Mike, I put Mike on to that winning time thing. Mike, remember that's an important part in there with Magic.
Yep.
Where Magic, his father was in the beginning facilitating the business part. And then by the time Magic went to LA and came back, it was one of the girls that he was dealing with, dad, was handling stuff. So when he came back and the conversation came up, he was like, oh, Magic, we got this, that. He was like, nah, he's going to handle it. And the father was like, but I be handling stuff. He's yeah, but he's doing a good job. And then only to become after him, he's going to get clipped out because he's not good enough. Dave, this is a financial thing here.
Taylor, can I give you one little nugget? Can I give you one more nugget? Do you know that's what they did in not Rosewood, oh God, where they did Black Wall Street in Tulsa. What they did, they found that there was oil. They put these black people there, and they found oil on the land. And what the people did, they said, "Oh, we found oil, but you can't manage it. We'll manage it for you because you're not equipped to handle, this level of money and to be able to work it. So we'll handle it for you, and then we'll just give you a little piece or whatever and stuff like that." So these people actually lived and owned a land that was rich in oil, and the powers that be took it from them because you can't have it. You don't have the mentality to be able to handle it.
But you know how stupid they are? They bombed them with bombs from the sky. Yeah. Who the fuck is bombing oil?
You're ruining the oil, guys.
Man, we can't count. We can't handle the numbers.
Listen, the thing of it is, people will buy into that because we already have become subjected to that perpetual motion machine. Whereas though they started it, we're inadequate, we can't do this. I want to be this when I grow up. I got to get an education because that's the only way to make money. I'm going to get a degree. And then by the time you buy into all of that nonsense, you lose your gifts, right? So then they monetize what's left. And the thing of it is, these folks get paid a crap ton of money. I see black folks running around here right now telling, oh, I'm making $40 an hour. Do you realize if I can pay you $40 an hour, then I'm probably making anywhere from $400 to $4,000 an hour on your labor? Like, we don't even think that far ahead, and it's jacked up. But I've got a 3 talent. I've got a 3.
Give me the top 3.
All right. My first one is Master P. Master P came out of the South unlike anybody else, and he called his own shots. He turned down Universal. He turned down a couple of other folks that just couldn't do it. And then he took a $10,000 inheritance and turned into billions of dollars. Like, say whatever you want over the course of his lifetime. Man, that man is incredible. He's doing everything from ice cream. He got his kid a Disney gig and put his other kid head up against Bow Wow. He put his brother with no rhythm on and got him platinum records. If that man oh, you don't want to put me in movies? No problem. I got the hookup. Oh, yeah, and by the way, you know what? I want to be in the NBA. And he did that too. He actually lasted longer on Dancing with the Stars than most people who have some training and dancing background. Like Master P's unstoppable. Number 2, listen. Floyd Mayweather.
Yes, sir.
Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer ever. He is not the greatest champion. He's not even the greatest fighter, but he's the greatest boxer ever. That's why he's undefeated. But that's not where he really is undefeated. He's undefeated in the fact that he took a mob founded and can't say the word run type of system and made it for his own. You can't get a hot dog in the MGM Grand without Floyd Mayweather getting a check. And they hate him for it. They start talking about how arrogant he is. But look at all the things that he created, so much so that HBO is doing it with every other franchise. Then he went and did it with CBS. Floyd Mayweather is unstoppable, and they hate him for being independent. And finally, I don't know about you, Talent, but didn't you get your ass whipped when you was a kid? Did your parents whip that ass?
Pretty good. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like your parents didn't have the right hands to whip your ass? Like, do you ever look at it and be like, why am I not Pryor? Like, why am I not Pryor level? Why am I not Eddie Murphy level? Joe Jackson had such a hand.
Joe Jackson. Oh wow.
Whereas though his ass whippings were so phenomenal, even when his failures came up, act like you ain't never bought the centipede in the club. I dare you. Reedy Jackson put up one #1 joint and kept pushing. His ass whippings was so great. After folks said, you know what, we're sick of Michael, we got Janet for you. Listen, Joe Jackson beat greatness and created the single biggest musical franchise from his nuts.
Mm.
And then they called him abusive and this, that, and the third. And the second that he realized that there was some shady business going on, not only with Motown, but with CBS. With Motown, Barry Gordy had the contracts worded whereas though he could take 5 of the nappy-headed kids and call them the Jackson 5. He owned their names, first, middle, and last. Right? That's why they became the Jacksons at CBS. And then at CBS, they treated them like a black act. But them Epic folks and them CBS folks said, listen here, Mike, we need to make some albums and you need to get away from your daddy. So they got him away from his daddy. All because Joe Jackson's abusive. He did this. I want somebody to whoop my ass to that level of success. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Talent. Can I add one more?
Absolutely.
All right, one person that we built up and we have deserted, and I do not agree with his actions.
Don't say O.J. Simpson.
No. I'm gonna say Will Smith.
Ooh.
Oh.
Like, this is a man who did something that I did not agree with at all.
Right.
But for us to desert him like this, as if we haven't screwed up in our life, and to put the silence on Will Smith the way we have, like we literally should be embarrassed that we've deserted this man like that. Like it was one mistake, and I get it.
But I think this though, Mike, I'll be honest with you. I think it's very temporary what we're doing to Will. I think Will fully bounce back. I think it's just one of those slaps. Like, okay, not right now. We gotta, that's too much, too soon. And I think as soon as like a year, next year, Will be back because Will's positioned himself a certain way that he doesn't need opium to be successful and put things out. He doesn't need other people's money, in other words.
But you know what? If something happened to him in this situation, if something were to happen to him, we're always talking about mental health.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd be
we
memorializing. We'd be crying. But we left him.
We did it. We put him in that state. So if he harms himself, you're right. It's all of us who went too hard too soon. And yeah, we don't agree with what he did, but you're absolutely right on that one. See, now my 3 and ultimate pinnacle extra, consideration is I'm a big hip hop fan. We're all hip hop fans.
Right.
And we watch something happen to hip hop that the powers that be, the gatekeepers, we didn't stand up for the people in hip hop who meant the most. Public Enemy, X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers. And they were along the lines, financially, they eventually got along the lines, like you said, Master P, we're learning how to own and put out their own thing. But they did it because they didn't have a choice. Master P had a choice. He just was business-minded and said, I'm going this way. So like Too Short, selling out the car. These guys had record deals already and was in the system. But then the game somewhere changed. Like, you know what? This positive shit ain't doing nothing for us. It's more money and keeping the hood down, keeping the mentality down. Don't let it swell up because Public Enemy and them were talking that shit to elevate you and motivate you to get out of that system. When they was talking about Fight the Power and Do the Right Thing came out and Chuck didn't stop with one song. Every from 911 is a joke You know what I mean? To Welcome to the Terror Dome, all that stuff, the red, black, and green with X-Clan and Poor Righteous Teacher. They got too deep. And the powers that be shut it down. If you were talking that shit after a certain year, we're not fucking with you. We're not cutting deals with you. We're not distributing your music. And we kind of went along with that. And it all people who don't realize the godfather of hip hop, because hip hop is really before lyrics, it was hip hop was built around beats. And the godfather of the beats is James Brown.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
Now, Dave, this is
Yes,
your alley because James Brown was one, if not the first, one of the very first super icon black artists that said, I'm no longer paying the middleman.
Yep.
I'm no longer letting you pay me. I'm paying people. I'm going from the check receiver to the check writer. So how much is the venue? How much is that? Okay, how much are our tickets? What are we bringing in? What do we got to pay? And he's the godfather. So that was the first real big shutdown. I'm talking about, we've seen footage where James is on stage and Mike and Prince go to his show.
Yep.
And like, just go up on stage like, yo. And he's like, you know, because they know where their thing came from.
Right.
But we've been doing this build up and breakdown. So when the powers that be started to decide, like, okay, we kind of done with James. Everything James do, and you can't tell me shit accidentally makes the news that makes you look bad. You know, you smack a bitch in Walmart and Channel 7 happen to be in the other aisle. No. You're following. There's powers that be that say, keep following this mother till we get something.
Absolutely.
So personal business, whatever. So every little mistake James was making, or every little aggravated assault or domestic, they just built up a thing on him to the point where we started to watch it enough and go, man, I'm not fucking with James Brown. And we slowly, as they did what they did, and your fan base does the same thing, because that's really where it's at. You got propaganda, and you got the people that follow the propaganda. So my three is all hip hop, and of course, an extra added one is James Brown. Now, I want to spin this real quick on Motivation Monday, because we're talking about building up and tearing down. And when I thought about Amir said he's not going to be in, you know, slept on this, let me put a show together. So, you know, I thought of you guys, and I said, I need Dave for that financial hit. I need Dave, and I need Mike, because Mike is a walking billboard and a living of a man who changed his life. Like, not just, I'm not fucking with Tom anymore. I'm talking about change his life. I was partying. I'm drinking in the club. I'm hanging out. I'm cold turkey now. I'm recovering. I'm in recovery. You had to, Mike, and not that it stopped, but you had to, in that journey, where you decided to make that turnaround and be in recovery and clean it up, and I'm now going to live like this for my daughters and everything. When you got to that point, there has to be people along that journey that, for lack of a better thing, going against that grain, maybe peer pressure has grown, because grown people add peer pressure too. Oh, Mike, you ain't drinking, you a sucker, man. Come on, man. Da, da, da. And how do you deal with that? Because I know you come across it.
I mean, you come across it. You know, unfortunately, I have friends like you who, you know, when seen me in the struggle and still in the struggle, like, it doesn't change. You know, the struggle changed. It doesn't change it. You just you keep walking the journey, and it's a mental health issue. Like, that's what people don't understand. Like, it's one thing to stop whatever drug or that you're taking part in, but it's the hardest part is to figure out, why did you run to it to begin with? And in our community, we really don't, you know, you don't really run to your boys and be like, yo, I don't know what's going on, because y'all not licensed therapists, you know, y'all not psychiatrists. And, you know, everything in America is connected to alcohol. Everything's connected. Like, parties connected, birthday parties connected. If they tell you to celebrate, when you win a championship, what do? They don't pop bottles of water.
That's true.
They pop bottles of champagne.
Yes, sir.
When they do a toast at a wedding, they don't do it with water. They do it with, everything is connected. No matter what it is in this country, it's always back to what I call the escapism, which is always get something that helps you escape whatever you're going through in your mind. Like, they want you to buy a new car because it'll make you feel better. They want you to go on vacation because it'll make you feel better. If you get married and have kids, it'll make you feel better. And they never try and get you to realize that happiness has to start basically by you have to find your happiness and your peace of mind. You can't buy it. You can't win it. I don't care how many comedy crowds you tear down. When it's done and you walk back to that car, you're by yourself. And are you content, and do you have peace of mind? And that's where the mental health comes, where you got to figure out, you got to fight these demons, and you can't expect other people to understand. It's not their job. Like, people always want to be understood. People like, if people would just understand me and understand what I went through, they would understand why I act this way. It's not their job to understand you. It's your job to understand whatever happened in your past and why it's affecting you now. It's your job to find the resources. It's your job to talk to somebody. Everybody's got some stuff going on in their life that's hard right now. They don't have the time to stop and listen. And if you find that person who does take the time out to understand what has happened in your past that may still be continuing to haunt you, appreciate that person and don't take that person for granted, and make sure you return the favor. So it's not an easy journey, but it's something that goes on, and it's part of life. And everybody on these boxes is going through something. So, I don't want to make it seem like I'm special or I've won, because I haven't. Trust me. When things in life are a mess, they're a mess. But you keep waking up and you keep walking and you keep trying, and you never stop, and you keep reaching out. And in our community, it's like we have this stigma still. As much as we talk about mental health, we still have this stigma that people won't reach out. Dog, I'm in therapy right now, and the therapist has this thing, right? It's a holistic thing where they still give you pills, and they'll still give you stuff for whatever you're going through. But she said she took us out and she wanted us to touch a tree, and she wanted us to yell at the tree, right? And I'm like, you really want me to yell at a tree, right? So we got grown men yelling at trees, and people are breaking down, and it's called the transfer of energy, and transferring this energy, negative energy, into another living thing, which I kind of felt bad for the tree. Listen, I really did. Like, after I finished yelling at the tree, I was like, yo, don't take this personal. This was just me. I was following the lady's instructions. But dog, if I was willing to do whatever it took to do what I did, guess what I'm willing to do? I'm willing to put my hands on a tree. So every once in a while, like when I walk outside, and this is facts, y'all, I'm not lying. I go up to a tree and I say, what's up? And I touch the tree and I say, if it takes what it takes. It takes what it takes, y'all. And that's a true story.
I appreciate it. But this is why you're the guy to talk to when it comes to stuff, because you keep it 100 from day one since I've known you. Whether you was on this side, whatever you're going through, you have no problem keeping it real. And salute you. And we're here to help along the way and do what we got to do. Everybody don't keep it real. Everybody don't put that shit on front page and all that. Like Fig, you understand what I'm saying? Fig smoked crack in his garage on Thursdays, but y'all don't know that. I know that because I did some work in the garage and I've seen the vials. I see Fig. Tell us about your problem.
Yo, man, what's kind of funny? It's strange that you say that, man. When I was in high school, dude, man, I got high every single day. Every day, man. On my way to school, we used to ride the back of the train, man. And when the doors opened up, because when I went to school, man, the train was on like an outdoor platform. When that door opened up to our stop, the train doors, man, the smoke would rush out the door, man. And that's what we did every day, man. I tried everything when I was young, when I was in school. So now, when people say, Fig, you don't drink or you don't get high and stuff like that, I'm like,
I did it.
Nah, I'm not interested. I've been there, I've done that. I did that for years. I mean, when I was younger. So now that I'm older, it's like, yo, I realized, so I don't know, I just came to grips with myself. I know it's through the grace of God, but I just came to grips with myself like, yo, I'm good, but just on my own. Like, I don't need that to have a good time. Sometimes people use drugs as, just like to let down their guard so they can be themselves. Because what people are really afraid of in life is being who you actually are and letting people see you. And that's being exposed. And that's what people fear. People fear, like, if I show you who I really am, you're not going to like me. So if I get this drug, if I do something that's myself or I'm being myself, then I can blame it on the drug. You know what I mean? I was like, oh man, I was just tripping, y'all. I was high, or I was drinking. That ain't me. That was that. You know, so we need an excuse, an escape from being who you really are. And that's what the deal is, man. So as soon as I feel like as soon as people get comfortable with who they are, people get comfortable with themselves, and they stop looking outside of themselves for something to make them feel good about who they actually are as a human being in this skin, then then the stuff goes away. You're like, yo, either way, people are going to find something wrong with you. I'm too fat. I'm too light. My hair's too curly, whatever. You know, whatever people want to say. Oh, you got gray hair, or you ugly, whatever. People always going to find something wrong with you. Just like we did the 3 people talent. People found something wrong with people that were great. Michael Jackson, James Brown, Ray Charles, LeVar Ball, Richard. People find something wrong with everybody. So who are you to be exempt? One thing people also know, I spend a lot of time in church. And one of the things that they tell you when you're in a Christian church, you say, listen, if they found a problem with Jesus, who the hell are you?
Yeah, no, you have a lot about that. The realest shit they ever wrote, and all the stuff you said is 2 things: is being scared to expose who you are, but more importantly, excuse. As a social drinker, as a guy who actually drinks alcohol when working, I'm just coming from the hood. Most people I know that ain't doing what I do for a living, they in them bars drinking to get themselves an excuse or something they about to do. So how many times have we known those guys? So the next day, yo, you fucked so and so. Yeah, I was drunk. Yeah, I was drunk. No, nigga, you knew this you went to drink to do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have those nights with those randoms, but no, you drink that. You knew she was gonna be there to be around her to do that, so that the next day you could fall back on an excuse of saying, man, I got fucked. We both was high. We was drunk, man. One thing led to another. No. I don't even let people use that anymore. After the age of 35, bro. No. You're not waking up telling me you didn't mean to do it. You was drunk. You was high. Not after 35. You're a grown motherfucker, bro.
People use alcohol. I always say alcohol is just the key to unlock the door that you always wanted to go into that room. That's all. That's what it is. But talent, I got to tell you, I watch talent drink, and I get so mad and jealous because, like, I ruin my life when I drink. Right? I ruin lives. And talent just drinks and becomes a nicer person.
Yeah, like, he is the sweetest person after you get him a Heineken or 5.
I don't even.
It's a fact.
I'll just sit there and go like, wow, he becomes nicer. Like, he's like, he says, thank you. He says, have a good night, might be careful. I'm like, I don't know, but I guess it just all affects people differently. But I swear, if you had a pill that you could actually sell, that people could buy, that's what they turn into a more pleasant person, you'd be a trillionaire, dog.
Apparently you've never had Molly.
Hey, you know what old people used to call it, a truth serum.
Let me explain something to you. And today you probably can understand this. Huh. I come from my whole life. When we talk about, remember when you were young, you get those first jobs and everything. And you first start to work, you're a teenager.
Summer job.
My summer job. My whole existence from day one job has always been blue collar, physical manual labor. So those people train themselves into working super hard, do all this physical shit. They literally tired, they breathe. I worked in the fish market, so I had the fish scales, the smell, everything. And they work up until, let's say, traditionally 5 or 6 o'clock or whatever. And if it's a Thursday or Friday, they feel like they put that work in up until Thursday or Friday at 6 o'clock. And they would go to their local watering hole, and so to speak, if you're a woman, letting your hair down. And now those beers you threw back was just that. Like, man, I had a long, hard week of work and blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't just find the bar. Like,
bar found you?
I worked with these dudes with forklifts and warehouse that, you follow suit. You was like, yeah, I am tired, man. We're going to have some beers. You know what? That sounds about right. Now, ain't nobody telling you got to drive after this shit.
Ain't nobody tell you about that. How you going to get home, right?
Yo, that is hilarious. The funny
Dave, you
thing
got
is,
some words, man, because before we close out, I do want to, if you got any type of a financial thing, we're trying to put people in the right state of mind. We are in a climate right now that we are leaking money as a people. We're spending on shit we shouldn't be spending on, temporary shit, putting ourselves in situations or whatever case may be. What do you got to tell your people, man, going forward?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. First of all, I never knew that you worked in the fish market. That would explain the residue. That really would. I was trying to figure out why you were
I didn't
smelling
know.
like,
That was
prostitute yeast infection every weekend. Now I understand you was doing the fish market and you came over. I understand now. In all seriousness, when it comes to money, though, like when it comes to money, the thing that people need to understand is it's not about this thing that they teach you. Anything they teach you is absolute bullshit. Saving money does nothing but keeps the banks flowing. If you want to do something with your money, there's three things that I recommend. First, get yourself a high yield savings account. The second thing is get yourself a Roth IRA. Simple things to set up. And the third thing is invest in yourself. Everybody says, "Oh, I can't be a business owner." But if you notice, everybody who's rich has a business, whether it fails or not. Look at all of the owners of the WNBA. They've operated at a $10 million loss since 1996 because they understand the importance of having a business because that's where they hide their money. The other thing is stop trying to impress people with stuff that does not do anything to uplift or move forward your community. Like I got proud of this and I got proud of that. And don't get me wrong. I like nice stuff too, but I also have a bunch of stuff that is black owned, not because I'm trying to be trendy or it's Black Restaurant Week, because I'm black and I see every other group of people spending almost exclusively with their own except for us. Like, you want to have more money, put more money in the things that make you happy. And if you think you can't monetize your gifts, ask your job what they're doing when they hired you. They're monetizing your gifts and your skills. And if you want to make more money, you got to invest more money. You got to stop saving it. You got to reject the bank, get yourself some whole life insurance, and then borrow against that. But that's a conversation for another day. Most often, though, last thing telling them to shut up. Can y'all stop trying to impress people who don't give a fuck about you? I mean, just really, because they're not looking at you and they don't really care. And even if they did, they're not financing you. Stop doing stuff to impress people. Impress yourself with how far you've come. Impress yourself with firing your boss. Impress yourself with being stable and creating some generational wealth. But stop trying to impress yourself because you went down and got something cute to wear to the Roots picnic.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, there you hear it from the financial mouth. That's Dave, the business bully. That's my boys over here from Box Seats, Mike, Sean, Comedian Fig. Thank all you guys for last minute jumping in. Amir will be proud, man. And everybody listening, thank you guys for chiming in. Hope we dropped a few jewels on you in the meantime. And every Monday, 6 o'clock, catch us back here. This has been Motivation Monday. Peace, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all.